Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show with a selection of 30 retro photos. Write in the comments the most interesting photo in your opinion. Appreciate our work by subscribing and commenting with your favorite photo. And don't forget, enjoy the show, and we're start. Brigitte Bardot was born in Paris into a wealthy French family on September 28, 1934. Brigitte as a child was not interested in learning, her only hobby was dancing classes. Parents did not love Brigitte more, but her younger sister Majana. More than once I heard my mother say to her friends, "Thank God, there is Majana. She's the only thing that makes me happy." Brigitte is both mean and ugly, and I looked in the mirror and cried, and indeed, not beautiful, my appearance I was ashamed of. I would have given anything to be like Mizanu, with waist-length red hair and violet eyes, and to be my mom and dad's favorite. At the age of 12, Brigitte Bardot entered the ballet school. There were 150 applicants, of whom only 10 were selected. At the first examination at the ballet school, Brigitte hoped to come second in her age group, but in the end she took first place. After graduating from ballet school, Brigitte began studying with the Russian choreographer Boris Knyazev, who lived in Paris. Soon the 15-year-old Brigitte became the mistress of 22-year-old Vadim. Parents were against their relationship. In addition, they did not like the fact that Brigitte completely abandoned her studies. When they tried to send Brigitte to study in England, she tried to commit suicide by sticking her head into the oven. In the end, a compromise was reached. Brigitte does not go to England, but marriage to Vadim is out of the question until she reaches 18 years old. Brigitte's parents could not reconcile their daughter's marriage to a bohemian and homeless, who rented a room in half with a friend, Vadim. This marriage seemed to them a mésalliance. The situation changed when Vadim left the cinema to become a journalist and started writing for Paris Match. Now he earned a regular living and could ask for the hand of Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte's parents insisted that after the marriage at City Hall there was a church wedding. The wedding took place on December 21, 1952. Brigitte's parents bought the newlyweds an apartment, where they began to live. Even before the wedding, Brigitte had time to shoot a couple of films that were unsuccessful for her. The critics said so bad about my first two paintings that the door to the movies for me with a crash slammed. With me, it's all over. I do not like to fail, cannot stand when I persecute. I prefer to go away on their own. I decided to take revenge, to start from scratch. Olga Orstig became the young actress manager. Like Roger Vadim, she was Russian. Film career Bardot was continued, but from the paintings of the period can be recalled only a small role in the movie, The Big Maneuvers, 1955, where Brigitte played with such stars as Michelle Morgan and Gerard Philippe. Brigitte Bardot recalls, "At Morgan, I looked into my eyes, but talked to her not dare, in her presence terribly confused." And Gerard Philippe, a living legend. "When he asked me a question, I blush." Meanwhile, Roger Vadim wrote a screenplay entitled And God Created Woman and began shooting his first film, Roger Vadim and Brigitte Bardot. Brigitte Bardot played the leading role. Bardot recalls, "I never had a better shoot. I did not play, lived, Vadim, having studied me, never reshot the same scene more than twice. He knew that with each take goes my naturalness. Playing love scenes, I was myself, so naturally I fell in love with my partner in the film, Jean-Louis Trintignant. With Vadim we lived like brother and sister. I remained infinitely attached to him. He was my rock, my friend, my family. But not my lover. Brigitte Bardot is said to have fashioned the bikini leotard, flaunting it at the Cannes Film Festival and in her early films. I had a mad passion for Jean-Louis. Modest, deep, attentive, serious, calm, strong, shy, not like me, better than me. Released in France in 1956, the film was received rather reserved. Roger Vadim and the producer of the film, Raoul Levy, were tearing their hair out, but they didn't give up and sent the film to American distribution, where it was an incredible success, because before such explicit scenes were not typical of Hollywood films. Brigitte Bardot became a new sex symbol. The enormous popularity of the film in the States contributed to its re-release in Europe. Historians consider the picture to be the harbinger of the sexual revolution of the 1960s. The next film for Brigitte Bardot was The Bride Was Too Beautiful. Bardot recalls, "The bride was too beautiful, but not too attractive." The film came out, but the audience craved the same sex bomb, as in the first picture, and God created a woman. There is no such thing as perfection. You want a bombshell? I'll give you a bombshell. At any rate, I had already become a married man's pipe dream, a pussycat, a spoiled brat, etc. As soon as I stepped outside, the photographers started snapping non-stop. God, how many times? After 1956, Brigitte Bardot continued to act in films. Her most famous films: Babette Goes to War, 1959, The Truth, 1960, Contempt, 1963, Viva Maria, 1965, Rum Boulevard, 1971. In 1970, Bardot was chosen as a model for the bust of Marianne, the symbol of France. In terms of personal life, Bardot divorced Roger Vadim in 1957. However, their creative alliance continued after the divorce. One of the last films of Brigitte Bardot's career was Roger Vadim's Don Giovanni 73. After marrying Vadim, Bardot had 3 more marriages, all of which also ended in divorce. From the second marriage left a son, who was not raised by his mother, but by his father. The conflict between inner insecurity about her attractiveness and the role imposed on her as a sex symbol, the lack of love for an acting career with her publicity and the inability to hide her personal life led Brigitte Bardot to an unexpected decision for many: to end her film career in 1973, she was only 39, and to focus on the fight for animal rights. The bonus photo. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the end of our show. I hope you are impressed. See you again.